What is up, buddy? It is your boy Drift. I am back with Shinobi. We are back for the Overnights podcast. I hope you guys are getting ready to enjoy this episode. We're getting ready to hop into. I'm gonna go ahead and let him do his intro, and then we'll go ahead and hop into the pod as always.
What's up, y'all? Shinobi radixan. Uh, Started doing YouTube again, so you can go ahead and peep that.
Yep, for sure. Like I said, the last pod that we uploaded, both of our recent videos were in the links in the description in the last pod if you guys want to check that out. Other than that, make sure you guys check this description just to see our channels and overview of what we upload videos on and where we make content at. But other than that, we have another gaming pod for y'all. In today's episode, we are doing a mixture of like top five lists or just list of different categories. So we're gonna go ahead and just go from there. Nothing news wise is coming out that has happened recently. It's super crazy. On the last episode, we covered like the PlayStation exclusivity thing. So if you guys want to hear our opinions on that, go ahead and check out the last pod as well. The last pod will be in the link in the description below. But let's go ahead and hop into today's topics. Like I said, we're doing a gaming themed podcast. So I think today we'll start off with the first topic, and that is our top five gaming consoles. Do you want to go first or second?
Don't matter to me.
All right, I'll just go first. Like I said, top five. So for me, they're not in a specific order. I don't know if you put yours in order or not. I just put mine like just five in general. I don't really have a specific order, but
Yeah.
mine was the PS2. Was my first one. Then after the PS2, well, I guess we can give like a brief description of like why that's on the list. I guess for me, the PS2 was technically my first like owned console that was just mine, like my very first one, just me. So I just have a lot of connections to that. It also has my favorite game series of all time on it, and my favorite, channel mascots like Cooper, obviously. Then the second one, I think, is kind of like not a niche one, but like it's I guess it's a part of everyone's childhood because it was like so innovative at the time. But the regular Wii, the first Wii, I feel like that was like the first like motion game type shit I played. So obviously that was on there for me. And then the next one will be like, well, it's not current gen no more, but the upgrade from the old gen PS2s for me would be the Xbox 360. Um, I love the Xbox 360. It had a bunch of games that were exclusively to Xbox 360. I am a PlayStation guy. I do like Sony more, but I just feel like I don't know. In the 360 era, I almost feel like the exclusives for 360 were almost a little better than the PS3 ones. So I give it the edge over the PS3. But anything after the PS3, Sony has dominated, and that is why my next one is the PS4. I played on the PS4 the most amount of hours ever put in a console. It's probably my PS4. It's when I really got heavy into gaming, so PS4 was on there. And then my last one is a handheld. I was thinking about putting maybe the regular DS, but I feel like I have just put more time into my Switch with the more current Pokemon games, so I just ended up putting the Switch on there. And it's just modernized like online multiplayer, so I feel like I have more of a connection to my Switch than I did my DS. But yeah, that is my top five console list. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you hop on yours.
For sure, for sure. There's a bit of similarities. I have no particular order either. I kind of just like thought of them as like I got older. I was like, what are like the main like memories that like stand out? So the first one is the Game Boy Advance SP. It's very specific and not like the Game Boy. I had a Game Boy, like the regular Advance. Um,
Yeah,
Never had a Game Boy Color though. But the SP just stood out because like it was that era where like flip phones were starting to be a thing, and I didn't have no phone, but I had the Game Boy Advance SP, so it made me feel like connected like that in that way, um, and it just felt better to play than the regular Game Boy Advance. Uh, no shade to the Game Boy Advance because it did its thing. You know what I mean? It paved the way, but it just felt better like holding it. Um, and then a little later down the line, this one might be like a surprise for some people, and some people might not even like know that this handheld existed because I feel like it was pretty niche. It's the Game Boy Micro. For those of you that don't know what it is, it's basically an NES controller, but as a Game Boy. Literally just had the directional pad, A, B, and left and right trigger. I liked it because one, it wasn't as bulky, right? And two, you didn't really need like all that other stuff um, for the for most Game Boy games, at least at that time. So it was good to just like if you was going on a trip, you know what I mean, or if like we're going out to LA and just hopping on the train, just pull that bad boy out and then there you go. Um, and the brightness was a lot better too, compared to the Game Boy Advance SP. So that's also a plus because back then it was the struggle of you got to get the light in the right angle so that you can actually see the screen sometimes. So, uh, but I think those were like my only handheld ones. Honorable mention, I guess, would be the PSP, but I didn't really play it like that. It was cool. It was ahead of its time. Um, but yeah, just a good honorable mention, I guess. But moving on to like actual consoles, PS2, same thing. It was the first console that me and my brother like ever actually like sat down and like grinded games and actually like played with each other. We had the GameCube. I was considering putting that one because I have the PS3 on here too. So I was like, I don't want to have like two PlayStations, but the PS2 I just have more memories of like us two together and Kingdom Hearts. So it, it had to go there. And that's also kind of why I had to put the PS3 because of BO2. That's where I met the boys. And then, I mean, like I said before, and I can't remember which episode it was, but if it wasn't for meeting Maggie, I would not be here. I mean, like little butterfly effect kind of thing. So PS3 got to be on there. And then the Wii. The Wii was like the console for the kids and the adults. I remember my mom's teaching me like all the secrets and stuff to like Super Mario, but she kind of stopped playing games after that time, and then it was like, okay, y'all got it, like that's y'all's thing. But when the Wii came out, everybody was playing that, so the Wii had to be on there.
Facts. That's like why I put the Wii on there too. I just feel like that's like a core memory for like everyone's childhood when it comes to like gaming consoles. There's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's like three things that I think of when I think of gaming consoles. One, everyone downloaded music on their PSP. That was like a common thing because that was like the first thing you could do it on.
yeah,
Two
yeah,
is everyone was a professional boxer and or baseball player and or bowling eliteist on the Wii. And then
yes, sir,
third is that at one point in your life, everyone has opened the DS and colored the bottom screen of the typing thing all black.
yeah,
Those are the three things I think about when I think about old consoles like that that everyone has dated in part of their childhood. But yeah,
yep,
now that we list our consoles, I think it only makes sense to hop into the games that we have tied to our consoles. So we kind of tried to do a thing where we picked the five consoles we picked. We grabbed a game or two and put like our top five games tied to that console. But it was obviously not five games. It's a game tied to our top five consoles. So I think we'll just go one by one. Like we'll just change it up instead of us going all one by like I'll say one, you say one, just something different. Um,
for
I
sure,
think for me, I'll start off with my PS2. I think the two games that I obviously remember the most. I don't want to pick like the obvious answer, so I tried to look up, or not look up, but remember games I played that weren't Sly Cooper or any of the other ones that I'm going to say later in a different list. So I think the other two games I put the most time into were NFL Street 2 and Tony Hawk Underground 2. I think those are like some of the core memory games that I also remember grinding the hell out of on my PS2. So those are my games tied to that console.
for sure. I don't care. I'm putting Kingdom Hearts on there. It's the obvious answer for me, but like that game, not only was it like super impactful, but it was the first game where I wanted to go out and find the secrets. I wanted to go out, 100% it, find all the keyblades, get all the trinities, do all the 100% stuff, and just all those memories of like all the time being spent finding that stuff. Especially during that time where the internet was a big thing, you kind of had to just like brute force it and like actually be a detective. Sure, you can get the guides and stuff, but you were lame ass if you got the guides and then went through it. Uh, but yeah, Kingdom Hearts, it's gotta be
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, you gotta think about like the time period though. Like people making YouTube tutorials on how to do things like that wasn't so common. So like going back and looking at like modern like gaming culture, it's funny seeing people look at like old like game informers, or you would actually go to like the store and buy like actual game magazines where you like had to like read articles and pages about tips for like games because there was no like let me figure out how to do this on YouTube real quick because like YouTube was still like not as popular back then as it is now. So like looking at that kind of gaming culture, it's crazy how like the times have changed. Like you actually really
Yeah.
couldn't even get a tutorial on some things. Like now it's cool because like you could look up any game and get a niche audience. But like back then, if like the game was like underrated, low key, and it wasn't popular, there might not have been a guide or a video to look up on YouTube to figure out to try to do what you're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah. So for my next one, then I'm gonna go ahead and hop into the games I had on the Wii. I think for the Wii, obviously Wii Sports, like I said, I feel like that's everyone played that, or like the Wii Sports Resort one, which is like the DLC where you got like basketball and other shit like that. But I think for me, the game that I actually played the most with my brother and my family was actually Mario versus Sonic in the Winter Olympics, or just the Olympics one. I feel like I
Oh
just
yeah.
fucking played the shit out of that. So yeah, that's those are my games right there for the Wii.
Yeah, I went with the obvious one to Wii Sports. I feel like that one brought like the entire family together, like even my tata, because he used to do like amateur bowling. So
Yeah.
then he kind of stopped, and he would like taking us to go bowling. So whenever he had the time to like come over, that's all we would do was just play bowling on Wii Sports. I guess like one that's like not an obvious one would probably be I can't even remember the full name. I think it's like Mickey and the Magic Pen or something. The one where you can like draw and he's like holding a paintbrush. That
Oh
one
yeah, yeah,
has a
yeah.
lot of memories. Yeah, I forget the exact name. It's been a minute. I know they remastered it or like redid it for PS4, PS5. I don't know. It was a little while back. Um, but I remember that one being a banger. That and then Mario Strikers. That that was my shit on the GameCube, and that was my shit on the Wii too.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm trying to think of when you brought up that game right now, the Mickey game. I remember playing that game, and I also remember that we actually had like I remember like the we had like the little like you put like the wand into like that gun thingy, the motion gun thingy. We actually had like the arcade
Oh yeah,
machine.
yeah,
We had the arcade machine, House of the Dead. That game we had on our
yeah. Oh
Wii
yeah,
too. I remember playing that a lot too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Similar stories to the Wii Sports thing, bringing your family together, because that's how it was here too. Like a lot of my family played that together too. So it's cool to see that it's like a similar story that we share. I think for
Yeah,
my
I
next,
think that
but
was
uh,
well. Just to like add to that, I think that was like the main like marketing for the Wii was like everybody can play it because it's not like stuck to buttons anymore. Now it's like more just like focused on the motion controls kind of thing.
yeah, and honestly, it was like an actual like fun thing to play with like multiple people. Like even the baseball
Yeah,
was fun, or the boxing was fun. Like everything was super fun to play with people. So yeah,
yeah.
I didn't mean to accidentally cut you off there, but
Nah,
my
nah,
my
you good.
next one would be the Xbox 360, and I think for core memory that I have for the Xbox 360 would be either the Gears of War games, specifically 1 to 3. I didn't really play more after that because obviously I was primarily still a PlayStation guy. But yeah, those three, and then this game is also not just Xbox game, but I just remember playing before I met everyone that we play with now. I had other friends that played Xbox 360, and I played Minecraft a lot on the Xbox 360, almost as much as I played on the next gen ones. But yeah, I just remember playing Minecraft so much with my first like little group of friends before I switched to playing with all you guys on PlayStation, because I did own a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360, so I was kind of like flipping back and forth because my brother actually got a 360 and I got a PS3. We didn't get both of us didn't get the same one, so we kind of just would take turns. So I remember playing Minecraft with some of my friends from school. That was like my first time playing Minecraft on console, so it was on
Oh yeah,
360.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, mine's also an obvious, or mine is an obvious answer. BO2. I've already talked about it a couple times, but for a non-obvious answer, Alice Madness Returns. That game is the shit. I wish that they continued it as like games and not like books and media. Still
Yeah,
cool, but yeah, that game is so good. I really want to play it for the channel, but I'll think about it. For those that don't know what it is, it's like a twisted version of the Alice in Wonderland story. It's by American McGee. I think that was his name. I don't know if it was like his version of like a book or like it started from the games. Madness Returns was the second in the series. I didn't pick up the first one, but the second one highly recommend playing it. It's so good. If you like when like those old school stories get like twisted and have like this weird uh like different theme. Like in this one, she's like in an asylum. She's going crazy. So whenever she has like her episodes, that's when she goes into like Wonderland, and then she tries to fix her problems within Wonderland, and it affects like the actual world because what she's doing in Wonderland is actually what she's doing in the real world. It's super sick. It's super trippy. So highly recommend it.
Yeah, I think that when Alice became like a dark like entity like that, it was super sick. I love when they like change her like traditional, like you said, media look to make her dark. Like I remember,
Yeah.
I don't play this game because I don't play mobile games, but I remember even like on that like fucking game that gets promoted all the time. Oh, Raid Shadow
Yeah. Raid.
Legends. Yeah, they came out with like a
Yeah.
dark version of her with a little like cinematic
Yeah. Yeah.
trailer, and I'm like, yo, this is kind of sick. Like,
Yeah.
I like that character in that as well.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that that game is a game that's like honestly I might have to give it a try. Like I've heard you talk about it in a previous podcast. I think we mentioned it before already. But or even just me and you chopping it up before talking about games, we talked about it. So I think it'd be a game that I would have to check out too. That would be
Oh, for
super
sure.
sick. But yeah, my next one I think obviously would be the PS4. I've obviously played a lot of games on this, but if I have to look back at like a game that reminds me of the PS4 so much, there's specifically two that I really stand out and I put a lot of hours into. One was Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one, the first Horizon game. I just think when it was brand new and it was something new, it was really really fun, and I really liked the game a lot. So that's a game that I have a core memory on the PS5 with or PS4 with. And then my next one is I did play this one on PS5 a lot or just as much, but I started on the PS4 and that is Destiny 2. I feel like all of our friends played that and just experiencing that game was one of my favorite ever like looter shooter games. So those are the two games that I have for my PS4.
Bad bet. For the Game Boy Advance SP, I'm gonna go with Super Mario World 2. It had to be this one in specific, cause this is the one where like my mom's was like the shit in. Like this was like her thing. She started off with like the OG one, right, on the NES, like getting all the secrets and stuff. So she was like super into that, finding all the shortcuts and like the extra levels or like the hidden levels. So she would teach me all that kind of stuff. So just good memories going through that.
Yeah, that's sick. It's cool that you have like attachment to all these games with your family. I think that adds like more like lure to like the gaming history that you have. It's cool that you have your
Yeah,
family involved.
yeah,
Yeah, for me it is mostly just co-op with my brother. Most of my games were just co-op, couch play, stuff like that. When well, growing up, at least, it's kind of crazy
yeah,
that,
for sure.
that's not even a thing no more. People don't even really couch game like that anymore. So that's also kind of crazy.
Yeah, whenever it's like announced that where a game's gonna be multi, and then they like specify it's local, everybody's like all pissed off now because it's
Yeah,
not like actually like online.
I just feel like that's like a vibe that I miss, low key. Like pulling up to someone's house to play local. Like I kind of wish I had
Yeah,
someone to do that with, or like a gaming area to do that with. It's kind of like um lame that people don't do it now. That's why I think when we used to play Smash here at my house, like Super Smash, everyone came over, grouping up and playing Super Smash with all your friends in person is just so much better than playing like
yeah.
all over like the internet. It's just a lot better like that. So for my last one, obviously I had listed the Switch. So for my Switch, I don't really have a specific singular game. So I'm gonna just go from all the Pokemon games that have released on the Switch. So anywhere from like just all of them, like Pikachu, Let's Go, Pokemon Unite, Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, even the new one. Those are just all games that I love. Pokemon, I obviously love a lot as a gaming franchise. So for it to evolve and kind of upgrade with the Switch, I really just enjoy all those games on the Switch, and I've put a lot of hours into my Switch playing those games.
For sure. For the Game Boy Micro, because it was on the go, I would just like playing like real simple games. Like the only complex game that I would play on the go like that was Pokemon Sapphire, specifically Sapphire, just because my bro had Ruby, so we would like, you know what I mean. But the Namco Museum Collection, it was just all like the old school games that I was like introduced to, just like on the go. So I thought it was super sick. I mean, it had like the OG Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, Galaga, like 1999 or something, like the I guess sequel to it. Dig Dug, like all the hitters, all the bangers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super sick. I remember how easy it was to get like ROMs back in the day for those kind of old consoles too. Like someone would just make like a empty cartridge with like hella games on those kind of things.
Yeah,
It's so much easier to get back then than it is now.
yeah.
Well, yep, those are our consoles, and those are our top five games tied to our console. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into the next one. And I'm gonna go ahead and let you pick the next one we do. I feel like I've been picking them, so I'm gonna let you pick one. I think now is a good time to pick any of them because like now they kind of like are different off topic. I kind of wanted to do the consoles and the console games since they were together, but I'll let you throw in the one you want to talk about next right now.
I guess since we're on like consoles and just like hardware, uh, you wanted to specify top five collector editions or like items. I had a hard time because I don't really like have any like console specific ones because I know like that was like your main thing was like console specific ones. Um,
Yeah, or collector's. It
but
could be like the
yeah,
statues and
yeah,
hard
so,
steel books and shit.
yeah. So for like consoles, because I wanted to have like a decent variety, but I
Mm.
do remember there being a PSP for Birth by Sleep, one of the Kingdom Hearts games, but I could never get it because it was a Japan exclusive. I could probably, I mean, bust out the bank now for it, but it's so clean. It's like a all white, and then it has the designs pretty much just like on the back. There's a little bit of design in the front, but Birth by Sleep is one of those games where it was exclusive just to the PSP. Uh, so just having the PSP specifically for BDSP, I mean, it would have been a flex back then. Um, Aside from handhelds, I think that was like the only one. Kingdom Hearts PS4, I love the look of that one. It's still like the regular black color, but the etching and the design on it is super, super sick. It's super subtle, and I think that's why I like it because it's not in your face. It's like a grayish kind of look to it, and it looks like best way to describe it would be like medieval, almost like Bloodborne esque kind of design. Like imagine like really tall buildings, like kind of Victorian era looking kind of thing. Super
Okay.
sick. And then another PS4 that I like really, really, really wanted was the Miko PS4 for the Project Diva, specifically the white one. It comes in black. I just don't think that the Miku like green or turquoise, whatever you want to call it, fit the black all that well. But with the white, it's super, super clean. I don't think I can keep a like a white console like clean like
Clean.
that. Even with
Yeah.
the PS5, I swapped out the covers because I got the purple ones. Um, but even like before, with just like the default white ones, it would get super dirty, and I don't mind cleaning it, but like if I could go like a week or two without doing it, you know what I mean, and having like a set schedule just to clean shit, that's like I'm all for it. But that's when I would sacrifice that for. Um, those were all the console ones. The for like collectors, I feel like lately there hasn't been like any really big bangers. Um, except for like the one that I picked out, which is the Liza P collector's edition, but the Korean exclusive one. This one is sick. I actually did end up getting it. I think like midway playing through the game. I didn't even finish playing the game at that time. It's just so sick, and it was more so because it's it comes with the vinyl or like the main song for Feel, and I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta have it because one of the things that I collect is vinyls, and not so much like collect, but like I just having them around because I don't know, like if y'all ever heard some get played on wax, it just has a different feel to it. It feels like a lot warmer. I like the like little imperfections in it with all like the dust particles, so it's always just like slightly different. I don't know. That's just me being like super like music head. But aside from the vinyl, it comes with the steelbook. It comes with two pins, one for Vanini and one for the Alchemist. It's a big ass box. It's got some artwork. Pretty sure like an art book, like aside from the prints, and then obviously the game, and then I think two or three exclusive skins. Maybe it's just mask. I know for sure one of them is a full like outfit, but super cool set. And I love that. Well, it's a love hate kind of thing. I hate that we don't get the cool shit if the game developers are not like based in the US, but I
Yeah,
also
oh
love
yeah.
that too because it's like showing love to like the country and like where it came from. Um, but yeah, super cool collector's edition, and like I said, there's not many like cool ones, at least for me, that I've come across, and like for games that I have played recently. I don't really think that there's any like super cool editions that have come out and that like really stand out, but that's one of them. And another one is the Kingdom Hearts 3 collector's edition. There was two different ones. I think one was just like the steel book, the art book, and I think that was it that came with it. It might have came with like a downloadable keyblade, but the one that I got was the one that came with the figures, the Bring Arts figures. Those are super good quality figures. So for them to have just like a full set of all three of Sora, Donald, and Goofy, I was like, I gotta have this. And it's based off of their designs when they're in the Toy Story land, so it just fit. Like them being toys and then them having the collector's editions as figures, it's so clean. Two of my favorite collector's editions of all time.
Nice. Yeah, those are some unique ones too. And I like you said, it's crazy how like games have exclusive ones to like other places that aren't US based, but it does add like
Yeah,
some cool value to like the hunt of wanting to get them, I guess is
yeah,
what
that
I would
too,
say. But
that
yeah,
too, yeah.
it's kind of crazy. I don't also have a bunch of modern ones on mine. I have one specific modern one on mine, and I don't have the whole set, but I would get the whole set if it was, not instantly sold out and it wasn't so expensive. So my first one is
Yeah.
the modern one, and that is the PS5 30th year anniversary set, which is pretty much uh, to me a better take on the old PlayStation look. So like the light gray PS1 look, but for the 30th year anniversary, they rebought it out in like a darker tone gray. So it's like a really dark gray, but they still
Yeah.
adds like the classic XY triangle button, and it came with like the controller, the faceplates for the PS5. Um, so yeah, and I think it came with a headset too. Might have. I don't exactly know, but for sure the faceplate and the controller. I have the collector's edition controller, which is way expensive. I got as a gift from my brother, so I really like that set. That was my only modern one. Now I'm
Oh
gonna go.
shit! I just looked at the price for just a controller. That's insane.
Yeah, the 30th anniversary. Yeah, he got it when it
Yeah.
was like it's probably reselled now, so it's probably up more than when it was. But he got it when it was in store at GameStop. So I don't. I know it was more than $70. I know that. I'm pretty sure it was like in the hundreds or 100 and something. I don't know what it's at now. It could. It might be what he paid. I don't know. But I know he got it in store. But yeah, that
Yeah.
collection is super expensive. That controller is nice. I have two games on here, and then I have two consoles, so I'll just go ahead and do my two games. Obviously, I told this story before in the podcast, but I have the Horizon Zero Dawn Collector's Edition. It came with like a statue, a steelbook, a poster, and like digital stuff to download in the game. Like because I don't know if people remember, but the PS4s actually had themes. Like you can change the theme of your console, so you can like change your
They
wallpaper
need
and
to
the
bring that shit back, man.
for real. But yeah, I came with a theme, digital music to play that you can download onto your PlayStation. It unlocked like a few like icons for you to put in your profile because obviously PlayStation 4s and 5s have purchasable icons. So that was kind of what came with it. The statue is really sick. It's literally Aloy standing, shooting one of like those like snake-looking robots with her bow. So it's really cool. I love the statue. And then my second one is a collector's edition that I was just short of getting, but I really wanted to get it, but it was sold out everywhere. And that was the Arkham City collector's edition that came with all the black and white covered comic style statue. It came with one of Batman, and it was like the art style of the cover of the game, which to me, that art style for a cover of the game where it's like the silhouette of the all white with the black shadows and like a little bit of gray tones was just perfect. So that's
Yeah.
a cool collector's one that I liked. Those are my two collector's editions. And then for these next two consoles are both consoles that I didn't ever own, but I would own. And the first one is I thought that themed consoles, I thought that Xbox 360 did a lot better than the PS3 era was, and they they had like the Gears one, the Halo one, but this one specifically, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but this one is always one that I would want to get, and it was the exclusive R2D2 Xbox 360 colorway, where it was like all
Hell
white with
yeah.
like the blue highlights, and like the ring of the Xbox 360, instead of it being like the the old green ring and the red ring of death. Instead, it was like kind of like a little. It popped out a little bit. It wasn't like an indented one because I don't know if people remember, but like the Xbox 360, you kind of like push the ring inward. This one had like a circular outward thing to make it look like the head of R2D2. So you kind of push like a circle button down instead of pushing it inward, if that makes sense. So it was just super cool. And when it was a bundle, it actually came with a matching controller, but the controller, instead of it being R2D2 color wave theme, with the white and blue, it was actually a matching CP30 gold controller. So you pretty much got
Hell
the
yeah.
two droids together, and I just thought that was a super sick console. If I had to pick a themed 360, I'd probably get that. And then my last one on the list, something like you. It's not U.S. based, and I actually have never had this console at all, and I probably wouldn't even play this console. I would just get it exclusively for these collections, and it is the UK 2DSs, which is it's a set of three. It is the OG games for Pokemon. It is Fire Red, Leaf Green, and the yellow version, and they are all a matching box set with different like pixel arts of the way the game's graphics look. So you get Charizard, Blastoise, and Pikachu or Chunky Chew in the box. And the consoles themselves, like I said, are 2DSs, which is, I don't know if you guys watching know what this is, but 2DS was in between the Nintendo DS and the 3DS, and it was a non-foldable one. They were like stacked up. The two screens were stacked straight up, so they just didn't fold. It was like a little bit longer. Imagine like a tablet-sized a DS, kind of like a miniature tablet, like a Fire Stick tablet type thing. But I really like the consoles because they were like the aesthetic of the consoles were like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the old PlayStation controllers. I don't know if you remember the ones where like they were like different colors, but you can like see through the colors and see like the circuit boards and stuff under the
Yeah,
controller.
translucent.
Yeah, and that's how the consoles were, or that's how the 2DSs were. Each of them yellow, red, and blue, and it just looks so sick with it, where you can see all the circuit boards and stuff through the console. So those are my, um, I guess, biggest chases for handheld consoles collections. But those are like super expensive to get your hands on now, and finding those in
Yeah,
good
probably.
condition is super hard. So yeah, but those are my top five collection and or themed consoles.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Did you want to pick the next one?
Yeah, we can go ahead and maybe hop into um we could probably do top five gaming franchises with at least three games or more. I think that'd be something to segue into next. If you want to
Bet,
read your
bet,
list
bet.
first, you can.
Uh, yeah, sure, why not? I'll go with the outlier first, cause like, it's not technically a trilogy, but there was like multiple within like that same franchise, and that's Burnout. I played the shit out of Burnout Revenge. So fun. I miss that kind of like style where it's like, yeah, you could go super fast, but like if your whip is not fast enough, just take those mofos out and you'll be good. Yeah, I mean, it was so much fun to play because I remember like even on like really long road trips, uh, my pops he would hook it up to like the car through like the carport. He would hook up the Xbox, and then we had like a separate CD player that I don't know how he hooked up the 360 to it, but he would, and then that would just keep us busy the entire road trip. Super smart to do. Nowadays, there's probably not enough space in any kind of whip unless you got like a truck or some shit. But
Yeah.
just really good memories, and I think that was like the main game that I played on the 360 was Burnout Revenge. And the same thing, I try to 100% in everything and like get all the gold, all the secret cars and stuff. Um, so I really wanted to come back. So I'm really excited for I think it's called Galactic Racers, the Star Wars game that's coming out because I'm pretty sure it's the same team that worked on Burnout, like the franchise, and Need for Speed. So I have really high hopes for it, but we'll see when it comes out. That one was kind of the outlier because that one wasn't like a like actual trilogy. I'll start with the one that I feel like might be on your list too, which is Sly Cooper. I would have been fine with it, just like staying where it is, if it did not have the ending that it did. I'm not gonna spoil it for those that haven't played it. I know it's been like forever, and now it's like, well, if you haven't played it, you haven't played it. But just in case, um, if they had just like ended it and like everybody has their happy ending, doesn't even have to be a happy ending. Just everybody has their ending and it has their closure. I would have been good, but there wasn't closure for some stuff, and that leaves like stuff open. If you guys aren't familiar with the franchise, Sly Cooper, he comes from a family of thieves. So there's a lot to work with there because you could go through different time periods and stuff, and you do that within the games. Um, but again, there wasn't closure point for some things where it's like you could definitely build upon this, even if it was like a DLC or something to like quickly wrap it up. Um, but yeah, I sadly don't think this is ever gonna happen. But it's definitely one of those where it's like, yeah, that would have been nice to have. Um, Another one is Bioshock. I have not played the second one, but I really like the first one, and I played them like kind of like backwards because I started with Infinite, and I loved Infinite. But a lot of people were like, I don't want to say glazing, but it was definitely a like a, oh, you have to start from the beginning kind of thing. And I was like, okay, we'll try it out. And I loved the first one. I just love that kind of like scenery, or not scenery, but like genre or theme, I guess, like that steampunky kind of thing where like shit is just like super massive. You got like this weird like kind of tech. In Bioshock Infinite specifically, it's like a city in the sky, and it's like back in time, but like the future. Super sick. Um, and I want that. I want that again. I want to be able to like experience that again. You probably cannot do a theme like Infinite nowadays unless you want people pissed off at you and like a shit ton of warnings on the game because I mean, let's just be straight up. This was back when like slavery was a thing. That's what BioShock was. It was like kind of this like dystopian kind of thing, or at least BioShock Infinite. Um, but super sick, and I want it back so bad. Um, the other one is the Arkham series. Another one that I don't think is ever gonna happen, um, for obvious reasons. You know, what I mean, they paying homage to the goat. And Mark Hamill said that he wouldn't do Joker again because of that. You know, what I mean, just to pay respects. But I feel like the Arkham series just like paved the way for beat 'em up games and like how they should feel and also have a really good story to them. I mean, we got the Spider-Man series out of them. We're gonna get the Wolverine out of it now too. So it definitely set like the standards for that kind of genre for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Um, and then another one. This one, it may or may not count. It's Kingdom Hearts. I put it on there because it's like, yes, they say that there's gonna be another one, and they tease that there's gonna be another one, but there hasn't been any kind of updates. So it might be in this like limbo where it's like, well, he might give it to you, might not, and especially now with the delay for the PS5, it's I honestly don't see it coming out anytime soon, even if it does, because they already dropped. I forget the name of it. I think it was Missing Link. It was supposed to be on mobile and like, connect. I forget which two games that got dropped after like playtesting. So yeah, it's one of those where it's definitely more plausible than the other ones on the list, but it's still like you got to take it with a grain of salt because we waited a long ass time for KH3, and I think we're gonna be waiting an even longer ass time for KH4 if that even becomes a thing.
Yeah, those games are far spread apart.
Yup. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, what you said about like the Batman stuff was it really makes a big difference, and I honestly don't think we'll get another one of those either. I think
Yeah.
like honestly, dude, seeing like all the people have their opinions on the game for like Suicide Squad, Killer Justice League, those edits of him that was his last project, and just
Yeah.
when spoilers when he dies in the game and just seeing all the edits, it was like a fitting end because the character and the voice actor all like kind of died in that universe in that game. So it was like a fitting end, and the edits for it were super sentimental and sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and hop into mine. So obviously for my first place one, everyone kind of even he said this, it's on my list. It's kind of like I have three of them listed in this first bracket just because like they were the big three of my childhood, and that is Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Dexter, and Sly Cooper. Obviously, Sly Cooper being like the tier one of the games, and yeah, the cliffhanger for Sly Cooper sucks. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it either in case people haven't played. It just always makes me want more. And I just the thing that like doesn't irritate me, but I low key wish that like the develop Sucker Punch kind of cared for Sly Cooper the same way that Insomniac does for Ratchet and Clank. Just giving Drift apart, or just give us like more efforts to get the game. Like even if they don't want to make more, I feel like remakes would be nice. Like digitally enhanced remakes, not like the remakes that they have now on the PS5 where you just kind of like buy it through the PS1 and the controls feel wonky. Like I want a smooth, like HD released remake if we're not gonna get another game. I just wish that Sony and or Sucker Punch would share more light on Sly Cooper. It's kind of crazy because when they do like their 30th year anniversary or when they update PlayStation product, Sly Cooper product usually sells well. I mean, the Funko Pop from GameStop exclusives sold well. The plushie sold well. The poster they came out for the 30th year anniversary on the actual Sony website instantly sold out. It's like the fan base is there. I just think it needs to deserve a chance for it to have another game. And the same thing with Jack and Dexter. I feel like Jack and Dexter had honestly almost as many solid games as Ratchet and Clank. It had more titles than Sly Cooper, so and it had a successful series of games. So I just wish that Sony would attribute those games just as well as Ratchet and Clank. But that also is a developer thing, and I think Insomniac is just better care of their product. And I guess you could say also a little bit of it is money. A Sucker Punch, as at the point where
Yeah.
they said that if Sly Cooper 5 or another Sly Cooper, anything Sly Cooper, it wants to be made, that they're willing to let another developer make the game, and Sony just has to approve it. But Insomniac, what they did, I think, with Spider-Man, it's super smart. They released a whole different title, got a bunch of money, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go back to our roots, and we're gonna give everyone, Rift Apart, and it was a super good next-gen game. So, yeah, those three are the big three that I have. Then my next one is I have two. I have two like you. I have one that's kind of like not really a series, and then um, the next one is like a partial series. So I'll go ahead and explain those. What I mean by those. So the partial series thing, I mean, is I put Assassin's Creed on the list, but like I don't really like it after it became an open world looter game. I feel like
Mm.
Origins and Valhalla and Odyssey and stuff just wasn't really good. I kind of like the simple, like story-based driven ones from like the beginning. So I would say like from Assassin's Creed 1 to about like Unity were really good. So all the ones in between that, like the Ezio Collection, Black Flags, Syndicate, those were really good. That was like the golden era of Assassin's Creed. Those is what everyone misses. So yeah, I like that. And then my other one I said that's kind of like you is I guess you wouldn't really consider it a trilogy because the third one is kind of like a soft reboot, but that's Plants vs Zombies, Garden Warfare 1 and 2, and then the last one is called Battle for Neighborville, which Battle for Neighborville was kind of like supposed to be like a next gen soft reboot kind of. But yeah, those are on there as well. I think those like arcadey, fun arena shooters is just cool. And honestly, it's kind of like I came out at a time around Overwatch, and it was like the Plants vs Zombies had like hero abilities, so it was kind of like a goofy um arena hero shooter based off of like the mobile game that's super successful. So I have that on my list. And then I have the Gears of War games. Those are probably my favorite Xbox games of all time. The game is super fun. The story was super good. It's super unique, and yeah, that's on there for me. And then my last one is just the Pokemon series in general. All the Pokemon games. I just love Pokemon a lot. Um, so I feel like that's kind of iconic to have on there. And then for I do have an honorable mention, and it doesn't have three, but I was thinking about it right now because I just eventually hope it gets a third one, and I do think it will get a third one, but we're barely on the second one, and the second one isn't fully out yet, but it's still such a successful and innovative game that I think you can always build on it, and there's more and more opportunities, and that is the Grounded series. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's like a survival game where honestly, I just explain it like this to everyone. If you know, you kind of know. If you've ever seen the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that is literally the game. Like the developers of the games are just fans of that movie. They've said it multiple times. It is pretty much for kids or teenage kids. The first one, they get shrunk by some evil scientist. Literally, I'm telling you, this is the plot of the movie, minus the evil scientist part. But they get shrunk by a machine and trapped in a backyard, and it's literally just you surviving in a backyard full of bugs. And you do the same thing you do in any other survival game like Ark or Minecraft. You loot your weapons, you build your base, you have to worry about your hunger and weather conditions, this and that. But obviously, the enemies and mobs on the map are bugs. And the second one, just further enhance the story. It skips a few years, and the first one you get big, and then the second one you reminiaturize again, but this time you go from a small backyard to a huge park. And then this game, the map is like double the size of the original game, and that also increases the size and the amount of bugs in the park because you're now in a bigger environment with more bugs. So I think that that is my honorable mention for a game that I feel like if it ever gets past two, we'll probably get a third one. And you can do so much more with the game because there's so many opportunities for you to get miniaturized somewhere else. And like right now, we've pretty much been in like an open green park area, and this one has like aspects of different terrain, but like you can go further than this and come up with crazy ideas for this game.
Oh yeah. I also just realized that I kind of mixed the trilogy with like games that we wanted to revive. That was my bad because two of them are in that list for me. So I'll like brush over them just to like smoothly transition. It was all planned, is what
Yes,
it
it is.
was. But the Sly Cooper and then the Arkham series. I already explained why. Uh, I would like for them to revived or be revived. But I guess like for those that aren't like super familiar, Sly Cooper, I kind of touched on it. It's based off of a raccoon that comes from a family of thieves. The theme is just super sick, and the characters are like all like super unique. Unique. It's very like comic booky style. Even the cutscenes are like that same kind of style or that same kind of line art. They're just really fun games to just play, sit down for a couple hours, just kind of get lost with it. Especially the first one because the first one's like super linear and it's very much like you go to this spot, start a mission, and then like transition to another area. It's in the second and the third ones, fourth one too, where the environment actually like, well, other way around. The missions are actually revolved around the environment. So as you progress through the actual story, sometimes it'll change the environment, and then that would then influence the next missions that you have to do, which I think is a very very cool idea, and I don't think very many games like do that anymore. Lies of P kind of did it, but I mean that's a Souls game, so it's very linear and you can't like really explore and like do any kind of side stuff. Um, but it kind of does it like yeah, halfway-ish through the game, kind of like towards like the last like second like third of it, um, which is super super cool. And then Arkham series, I'm just a big Batman fan. So
Same.
when we got a game that shit like hit and was like the shit to play, I I lost my shit. It's just so good. Um, it's definitely one of those where the first half is better than the last half, at least for me personally. And this is not including Origins, even though it's called Arkham Origins. It's not like really in the trilogy thing, but obviously part of the whole franchise. Um, Arkham Origins, I feel I did enjoy it, and it even still has the same feel to the main three, but Arkham City, like if you were to only play one, I feel like Arkham City is the one. And it's one of those games where yes, it's a trilogy, but if you don't play the first one, like you're not lost. It does continue on from the previous games, and then you're gonna get, like voice lines and certain missions that allude to the previous games, but they're a completely different story on their own. So it's cool if you play them out of order. But yeah, those two are in my top, and also like ones that I want to get revived. This one, it's more for selfish reasons, at least for me, because I never played it, and I want to be part of the community. I want to be part of like when it all started. And that's Titanfall. I've only ever heard good things about Titanfall, and
Yeah, that game fire.
yeah, I know. I want to be in the mechs, man. I want to be able to just tear shit up and then do all the wall riding and the hooks and all this shit. Sure, Apex is in the same universe and it has the same guns, but from just like the feedback of people that have played Titanfall and Apex, it's a completely different feel. Um, Obviously, like the abilities and stuff are inspired, like the different legends, their abilities and stuff are inspired from stuff that you can do in Titanfall. But I, I'm so pissed that I didn't pick it up. It looks like such a cool game. I don't know why I never picked it up. Maybe it's because like nobody that I knew at that time played it, but I would love for this to come back. I don't think it's ever gonna come back because I mean Apex is just raking in money from skins, but
That is true.
I would absolutely love for this to come back. Um, Another one is Paper Mario. I feel like this is one of those games that's kind of slept on, like the whole franchise. Um, it's definitely super long. At least Thousand Year Door. That's the main one that I played. But I loved it. That was my first time ever playing like an RPG ish kind of game. Because I skipped Mario RPG. I just never got into it. But this game, I loved it. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a bunch of hidden stuff. Um, as a kid, never finished it, but over the years, as I got time, it's definitely worth just sitting down, setting aside a couple hours to grind through some sections and uh, finish it all the way through. I really like the story in it too, and the concept of being able to like flip from the foreground to the background too, so good, and the different abilities too. It's just a cool concept all around. And then Star Fox, but specifically Star Fox Assault. I played the shit out of this one on the GameCube. Me and my brother used to spend hours on the multiplayer. I think with the capabilities that they have now, with today's tech, this game would thrive because the being able to have like multi now online, being able to up the graphics with the R wing and the different like space battles and stuff. I just I can see the potential, and it's like miles and miles. I just it's a lot of good memories too from the first one, even though it wasn't that good, but you could see the potential even back then. Specifically, the parts that weren't good were like the ground combat. Just the controls were weird. Being in the R wing and stuff, that felt good, and those fights were cool. But yeah, being able to improve on the multiplayer, being able to improve on the controls for the ground controls with today's tech, and even like the graphics, I think this one would hit. So those would be my top five to revive.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good list. A lot of those games are super intriguing for me as well. We do have one similar one on our list. Obviously, it's going to be the same one that obviously we connect with. But the thing you said about Titanfall is kind of crazy. Yeah, Titanfall is really fun, and it's super like it is like yes, it's in the same realm as Apex, but it just feels really good, and it was a really good arena shooter. And the one thing I will
Yeah,
say is that like not even to add on about the game being good and you missing it, it's just that like they know that even though Apex makes money, that game will make money. That game literally killed Highguard. Like the trailer dropped for Highguard at the Game Awards, and the whole chat, millions of people were spamming Titanfall 3, Titanfall 3, Titanfall 3, Titanfall 3, Titanfall 3.
yeah,
Like everyone knows that they want that game to be the next thing. I think that at this point, Respawn is probably scared that if they release that game, it'll just kill Apex, essentially, kind of like what Marathon did to Destiny 2. I just kind of feel like they know that Apex is like an easier game to manage because they don't have to dump as much money into starting a project from ground up. So I feel like if you start a
yeah.
project from ground up and then it makes more money than the game that you've already invested millions of dollars in, they don't want to do that probably. That's my only thing. But yeah.
That sucks. Yeah,
But it is a super fun game to play. Like Titanfall 2 specifically was one of my favorite games to play. It was really fun to play. And the movement in that game, it's just like was just a better Advanced Warfare in my opinion. Like just the movement was so fluid for its time.
yeah. I would see people playing on YouTube, and like I said, I have no idea why. I like actually picked it up and started playing, but it's definitely one of those where I really regret not being a part of that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have fun with that game because I also feel like that game is one of those games where like it cooked over time, if that makes sense. Like when it was out and like current, people were like, yes, it had a player base, but it didn't have a player base like it has now, if that makes sense. More people are into it
Yeah,
now after it's been absorbed and saturated and they have that FOMO of missing it now. I feel like a lot of the people, it's like people played Apex and they discovered that Apex is based off Titanfall and then they went back and played Titanfall and because there was no like servers or no like anything, it made them want to play it more and now it just makes them want it more because there's plenty of people like you who want to experience it. So it kind of
yeah,
grew after the fact.
yeah,
But yeah, I'll go ahead and hop into my list. So for my number one, well, I don't have a number one spot, but my list is pretty similar. Or not pretty similar, but I have one similar thing, and that is Sly Cooper. I obviously already went over this as well. Like I said, even if it's not a new game, I really wish they would just remaster the games with better quality. Um, it just deserves more content in general. I would love to see more games. It also sucks that a lot of people, I guess, don't like Thieves in Time as much. And for me, having a PC now, it's not a problem. But Thieves in Times has never been re-released ever. It's always only the first three as well. Like the first three have went on PS4. The first three have went on PS5. So like technically, if you don't have a way to emulate games and or have a PS3, you can't really play Thieves in Time ever, which sucks because that one is such an underrated game. The art style for like the modern time upgrade from Sly 3 to Sly 4 was like actually really well. I think that Sly 4 just doesn't get as much love because it's not a Sucker Punch product, but I don't know, it was really good in my opinion.
yeah. I don't think it felt like all
Different
that
at all.
different. It
Yeah,
definitely still had like the same charm and everything, and I feel like they did it justice.
Yeah, I actually feel like Senzara Games looked at Sucker Punch's games. They played the first three. Yes, their vision of how the ancestors came to life in that game may have been a little different, but what they did is they grabbed the core story of the game and they just added on what would happen from their point of view. They didn't change nothing. They could have been like completely like wrong about it and rechange the story. They could have soft rebooted it, but instead they're like, "Hey, we love this game. We love the basis of this story. let's try to give these fans more of the story and add on to it. And I just feel like they captured it in a really good way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and like I said, they also did things. They brought some things back from previous games that felt really good, and they added new aspects of the game that were also, different. But yeah. But my next one I think is a game that I put a lot of time into on my channel, specifically after I stepped out of the Madden scene, and I just streamed this game a lot and played this game a lot, and that was Rogue Company. It was a small, like arena shooter game that was really fun. I just really enjoyed the game. It was more like frag punky like vibes. It was pretty much an S&D based Valorant game mode, but with movement and more third persony vibes. It's a really fun game made by High Res. If you guys have never seen it, I would check it out. It's a really fun game. The next one on my list, I also said this game from my favorite franchise games, and it recently just got a big spike in player base because of Jinxie. But that is Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. That game is just super fun, and seeing Jinxie go back and play it on stream and then revive the game and kind of give a few thousand players playing the game now again is really fun. That game is just super like goofy and fun to play. And then my next one is a super underrated game. This is probably like if I had to rank them in order, this would be my number one. I think about this game today so much, and it was one of those games that like I played it, but I felt like I could have played it more now. And now, if I had the opportunity to play, I would play this game even more. And I just want to play it even more. And that is Gotham
Yeah,
City Imposters. Gotham City Imposters was the funnest arena shooter game that I have played ever. It makes no sense and it's super comedic. It's just a bunch of random average Joes dressed up as Batman and Joker playing on Gotham City, inspired maps. And it is the most you know, wonky hitbox Team Fortress 2 console game ever. Like that game
yep.
is just super funny. You have random people ziplining all over the place. The guns were super funny. The idea of like, instead of it being like traditional fucking like grenades and stuns, you had like people on roller skates and you roll out spikes to slow people down. You're throwing spray paint in people's face, like all kinds of goofy things instead of regular weapon. Like you're using homemade tactics to do funny things with, and it was super funny just seeing the characters models. And on top of that, you got to dress your characters. Like you could unlock different ways to make your character look goofy. I mean, dude, you had people walking around with Batman masks, but instead of it being like leather masks, it's literally cardboard cutout boxes, like cereal
Yup.
boxes, shapes of Batman's head.
Yup.
It's just super goofy. The game was super fun, so that would probably be my number one if I had to rank it. But yeah, Gotham City Imposters is the game I miss to this day. The next one would be Assassin's Creed multiplayer, not just the game, but specifically the multiplayer aspect of the game. Um,
Mm.
I feel like it was super niche, it was underrated. If you've never played the game and you're trying to realize how Assassin's Creed would have multiplayer, let me actually specify this because I don't want people to think of Unity. Unity was more of like a PvE multiplayer, like you loaded up as a group before and did like a mission kind of. Nah, the old Assassin's Creed was like actual PvP, and it had unique game modes. One of them being Manhunt, which is like a free for all mode. And if you ever play Assassin's Creed, like you're stealthy, you want to go in and out of crowds, not draw attention to yourself, do like hidden assassinations. And in this game, it was like about I would say like 10 people in a lobby. And on Manhunt, you got a picture of another player on the top right of your screen, and you're looking for that player while being hunted by another player who's looking for you. And the NPCs in the map are pretty much just all NPCs that look exactly like all 10 players in the lobby, kind of just in different places, like crowds of people. So it's just like a bunch of NPCs that look like you and other players in the map, and you're kind of hunting another player to get a kill while you're being hunted at the same time. So you kind of want to secure your kill without drawing attention to yourself. But there's like different strategies to it. Like you can you can be aggressive. You could run around, but you're gonna draw attention. Or you can be like sneaky, weave in and out of crowds, climb rooftops, sneak up behind. But there is no, there's nothing like the adrenaline of playing a game like Assassin's Creed because Assassin's Creed's parkour is one of a kind. So when you get in these chases to where like there's no better feeling like when you see the opponent that you're trying to like kill and he recognizes that you're maybe going for him and he just starts to run. So then you start chasing them, but then you start chasing the person you're trying to kill, and next thing you know, you turn around and you're getting chased, and then it's like a three-way parkour chase. I have never ever experienced that in another game before at all. And the movement of like outrunning someone just from purely like dodging and weaving and parkour is just unique to Assassin's Creed. So that's why that would be on my multiplayer game to be revived, because that game is fun, and it's just like fun to play something that isn't always like a shooter game. I feel like now when people think of
For
PvP
sure.
games, they only think of like arena shooters and or hero shooters, and it was just a different taste of flavor of game that was super unique. And then my last one, I have three games tied together because they are all the same kind of genres, and I feel like everyone went through this wave of genres. I mean, people still go through this wave, and that is a BR wave. Battle Royales have obviously took over the world for a while, but these three specifically were three different unique ones that I loved a lot. One of them is recently getting shut down, which sucks, but that is Blood Hunt, the vampire one. I feel like that game was super fun. The next one that I had on there tied together was Hyperscape, which was like a super futuristic parkour looking one again with guns. And then the last one was the most niche one, and it was a game called Spellbreak that our friend Justice showed us, or showed me at least. And what it was is like a kind of like a BR with Fortnite graphics, but instead of you using weapons, you had gauntlets on each of your arms and you casted spells. So you're pretty much either
Oh,
shooting
sick.
fire, shooting lightning, shooting wind,
Yeah,
shooting
yeah.
like acid magic out of your hands. Like every time you picked up a gauntlet, each gauntlet or each gauntlet gave you two specific type of moves. So like if you had lightning, one of them would be like you throw a lightning bolt. The other one would be like you throw a nade and lightning falls down from the sky. If you have the fire one of them throws like a fireball, and then the other move puts it like a line of fire. So you have two moves per type or whatever. But this game was super unique because like the way they added like skill gap was you can combine the moves. Like I could throw like if I have the acid glove in, for example, I throw like a puddle of acid, and then I have the fire glove. I could throw my fireball on top of that acid, and it'll have like a chemical reaction and blow up even harder. So you can mix all kinds of like moves. Like if you have the water gauntlet, you can throw like a water move and then tie it with like a lightning thing, and it'll make it even worse. Like all kinds of unique things you can
That's pretty
do
sick.
with the gauntlets. It was super fun. But yeah, those three BRs would be the end of my games you would like to revive. Um, I really just enjoy those kind of games, and it makes me miss multiplayer games that aren't just pure shooter games, like I said.
Yeah. What's the name of the game where like you gotta say the spell out loud? Cause it'd be sick. It'd be super hectic, and I don't think it would even work. But it'd be sick if they did like a BR with the magic where you have to like say the spells out loud. You know what I mean? So then you'd be doing call outs and you'd be like, fireball, fireball, he's on the left. Like that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
shit.
yeah. That would be kind of
That'd be
crazy.
sick. I don't think it would work, but that would be sick if they could do some shit like that.
Yeah, it would be funny if they did something like that and they made them like real names of spells, and then imagine
Yeah, yeah.
it's like proximity chat, and you got to know there's probably going to be people who just can't pronounce certain spells, so they're going to be mispronouncing something, and imagine like a Harry Potter game, and you have to say the Harry Potter spells out loud.
Yeah, you hear one motherfucker in the distance with Guardian Leviosa, and
Yeah,
then you see the
yeah,
building just rising and shit.
yeah,
That would be sick. That would be sick. Oh my god. I don't think it would work though. I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong.
yeah.
Um, but tying it all up, like we've gone through the games and stuff. Um, our top five main characters. I'll let you go ahead and start with this one.
Okay, yeah. I actually have a little more than five, so I'll try to go through them as fast as
I kind of
possible.
cheated a little bit too, but
Okay, that's fine. Also, another thing is there are some of them I had to like think about because like some of them I love characters that aren't also only tied to story mode games. So they're not main characters, but they're characters of a roster that's deep, full of characters with lore. I kind of like attracted to certain characters that are not story-based characters because I also play a lot of multiplayer games. So I have
okay,
some
well
of those on the.
shit. I left out all the multiplayer ones because I didn't think that was legal. But all right.
Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad. Some of
Nah,
them.
it's cool.
No,
I'll
okay.
have honorable mentions then.
The multiplayer ones that I picked do have like lores to them, either like cinematic lore or like readable lore. I didn't just pick like Ghost from fucking Modern Warfare 3 as like one of my favorite
No, yeah,
characters.
yeah, yeah.
I kind of picked characters that have like some sort of lore to them and or story to them, or it's like not like. But there's only a few multiplayer ones. That's why I have them in there. But I'll do the story based ones first. So for the story-based one, I have Laura Croft from Tomb Raider. I feel like she's one of the most iconic, non-fake, like or not fake, but non fantasy character. She's a real human being character from a human being series. So I have Laura Croft on there. Then for obviously he's gonna be this is gonna be an all my gaming things. But Sly Cooper, the whole family line, I like just the Sly Cooper like family line in general. If I had to pick someone to stand out completely, obviously Sly, Ryuichi Cooper, Tennessee Kid Cooper. Those are probably like my three favorite
Hell yeah.
ones. Um, then the next one, I guess, this one would be a story-driven one because they also got a show adaptation of it, but that is Jinx from League of Legends and/or the show Arcane. She is one of my favorite gaming characters, like I said. And then I have Miyabi from Zenless Zone Zero, which is like a gacha game, kind of like that Genshin Impact game that
Yeah.
Mickey plays, but like I said, that has a story to it too. Then from Assassin's Creed, it'll be either Ezio or Evie Fryer from Syndicate. And then these are kind of where I got, like I said, this is where I got my multiplayer ones from. Now they don't have like pure story mode based games, but they're a part of a roster that has like cinematic universe. I'll start off with Overwatch. Widowmaker, her cinematic trailer for her background was one of my favorite gaming trailers, like period. Also, I just love the character, Widowmaker, and all of her lore and story in the game. So all of the cinematic universes or all the cinematic shorts that Overwatch have made, I fell in love with. I really wish that they would make a movie and/or show. I mean, they said they're working on something, so hopefully we get something like that. I do feel like an animated series and/or show would work for that game, just like the Arcane series worked. The next one or the next two are obviously tied to games, but they're not story-based games. And like I said, that next one will be Valorant. My favorite character in Valorant is Clove. I really just love the character. There's something about her aesthetic and just that role in her and the shorts that she gets as well, the cinematic shorts that she gets in the lore we know about her is super sick. And then my last one, it's kind of weird because like they are technically like a story character, but it's like your character driven. So because you decide, so you're a character, but like it's like one of those things like when you play Pokemon, like it's a base character, but like you name it
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
want, and they never say your name. It's kind of just like, oh, you get to read the text, kind of like, oh, drift, blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah. So this, and anyways, it'd be a hunter from Destiny 2, specifically. Like I said, they hunters have lores. They have abilities that only hunters have. There's things that only hunters can do. So just a Destiny 2 hunter would be my last character.
Okay, okay, okay. I like the variety. Yeah, I cheated a little bit, cause I have one that's like grouped, kind of like with the like Cooper family, and
Oh,
that
okay.
is of course Sora, Donald, and Goofy. They're just always like referred to as Sora, Donald, and Goofy, so you kind of just like see them as like one. Um, but I love like the way that they took both Donald and Goofy in the game. I mean, Sora obviously go right; he's like the chosen one, so it makes sense. But Donald being a mage was like not a like theme or way that I would see him. Um, but he plays the role super super well. And then Goofy just being like a guardian, it it makes sense. I mean, he's taking all the hits, and that's why he's like a little bit on the slow side, but like we love him. You know what I mean? I think of the three, Goofy is probably my favorite one. Um, just I don't know, something about it, and the fact that his shield covers shit all is just comical. I love it. Um, then and these are in no particular order. As soon as they popped into my mind, I was like, yeah, this is going on
Yeah,
the
that's
list.
exactly how I did mine too.
Yeah, Bayonetta. I feel like there's not enough like female lead characters that are just like badass. They know that they the shit, and they putting in work. They doing business. Bayonetta is one of them. She knows she's the shit. She know everybody got their eyes on her for a multitude of reasons. Um, she's just super sick. I haven't played the Bayonetta games. I would like to. Um, I'm planning to, but I just like I said, I don't think there's any that any female lead characters that have stood the test of time to be like badass. There's a lot of like recent ones, right? Like from um, Horizon and from Stellar Blade, but they still need time to like have their footing, like kind of thing. Samus was up there too, but I think Bayonetta was like the more recognizable, at least for me. Um, Next one, Kirby. This dude's a goat. I mean, I just like the lore of the Kirby universe. Like everything is like super cutesy, but it's all based off of like really like weird and obscure creatures, and even like the drawings too. Super sick. And it just I have a lot of good memories of watching the show growing up. I mean, Four Kids was the shit back in the day. It had the Kirby show, it had Yu-Gi-Oh, it had Sonic, just so good. A lot of good memories from that. This one this one might be cheating because I it's definitely more of a comic book character, Batman. Um, but I mean, he's got games. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I threw
It
him in
counts.
there.
It counts.
I
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the the Batman that we got in the games. He's a good mix of detective and Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times where it's a lot more of like one side versus the other, and especially with the movies, there's definitely actors where we can all agree is like they're definitely a good Bruce Wayne, they're not a good Batman, or the other way around. Definitely a
Yeah,
good
for
Batman,
sure.
not a good Bruce Wayne. Yeah, um, and I think the Batman that we got in the Arkham series just like fits perfectly, and just the whole like theme and atmosphere of that specific universe is also good. This one might be just like a random one. Vito Scaletta from Mafia 2. I know it's not like a like goofy kind of character or like a comic booky kind of thing, but I just like the way Vito like carried himself in that story. For those that never played it, he like comes back from war because he ended up getting caught up from a robbery, and I mean he's been through some shit, he's seen some shit, and he's seen like the power that the mafia had in Italy because that's where he ended up serving. He comes back home and then he finds himself in that life again, but he's very like true to himself. Like yes, he's able to put a bullet between somebody's head, but it's because he's already had to do that in the army kind of thing. So it kind of like makes you think like if he never went down that route, would he have ever been put in this position and ever gotten into the life and made man and all of that? Um, he's just a very interesting character, and I wish that they had built off of his story even after the second one. They kind of did in the third one. I won't like really spoil it, even though there's not a lot to spoil um, in that particular game as far as like Vito's concerned. But if they had made another game afterwards that just focused on Vito again, I would have loved that. But those are my top fives. I guess honorable mentions that are like not main characters but are part of like the BR is Watson and Octane. I mean, those are like my two goats.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Apex characters, honestly. Apex is another game full of characters I love. That's what I said. I tried to grab like not straight multiplayer games, but when I thought about like kind of characters from the gaming thing, I just interpreted it as like games like Apex where like all the characters have like lore, and we've seen like plenty of cinematics now with characters in them, so you get like a it's more than just like a character in a BR. Like it's more than a character in an arena kind of. It's kind of like why I'm starting to fall in love with the lore of like that. I know I've been mentioning them because I've recently biased and playing the game lately, but like Deadlock, like the story behind Deadlock and why they're fighting, like
Hmm.
in the game in the atmospheres, they're all fighting for a wish to be granted, and then you have like a lot of these readable lores and things about characters that you want to play. So I feel like when a game that's a multiplayer based game like that adds depth to a character that's cool, you know, and you get more and more built on as seasons go on or as stuff goes on. You learn more and more about the character. I think games like Overwatch, Apex, Valorant, they do a good job of things like that because some games are really bad at it. Like if you look at like I don't know, like Rogue Company, a game I mentioned earlier, like it has a roster of characters, but they're just like characters with abilities. They have no story to them. They have no nothing. It's just like the
Yeah,
character's name, and if you like the character just because you play the character in the game, that's where it gets boring. Um, but when you have a game like Marvel Rivals or not Marvel Rivals, but like Overwatch, Marvel Rivals is actually a good example too because it's based on the comics, but more like Overwatch, where the game creates a character itself, or Apex, where the characters are created themselves, and then you get story and lore added on top of the multiplayer. It becomes more than just a character in a multiplayer game. It becomes like a story behind it. So that's why I picked the
yeah,
characters that I picked.
yeah. Especially with Apex, like as you like get to learn more about the characters, like as it's go on, the seasons are like based off of the stories too. Like the way that it affects the maps and like the different guns that come in and stuff. So cool that it adds depth, not just to like the characters, but like also the game and the updates that end up coming.
Yeah, and like it may sound cheesy to some people, but like when you have like lore to a character, like some like Apex is a good example. We'll just stay on the Apex thing because it's a good example. Like let's say you like a specific character just for like the aesthetic or just because you want to play the character, but then when you start to realize like the lore and the backstory, it makes you like the character on a deeper level. Like now you have
Yeah,
like an attachment to the character beyond just you playing the character. Like it feels like you can connect to them. It drives you towards them more when you realize that like, oh, this might be like how I would be in that situation, or I can relate to this, or this character resembles traits that I have. Simple things like that add depth and it makes you care about a character even more than just like
yeah.
the aesthetic of the character. It adds way more to it.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, but I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. It's been a pretty long podcast. We wanted to bring you guys something different. Like I said, we're gonna continue to try to mix it up with what we do on the podcast. Um, hopefully you guys are enjoying the episodes. If you are, make sure to leave some feedback in the comments below. If you guys want to participate in what we just did, I know we hopped around a bunch of topics. So if you made it this far into the podcast and you guys want to like participate, like I said, here let's give you guys a quick way to do a top five list. Maybe you guys do one of each category. So like top five, and just list your console, your main character, your game franchise, your gaming character, and your favorite collector's item and or collector edition to that game in the comments below, and we'll go ahead and react and comment and chat with you guys, and like I said, in the comments below. But we're gonna go ahead and do our outro. I'm gonna let Shinobi do his first, and then I'll do mine, and we'll sign out the podcast.
Yep. Just appreciate y'all for tuning in and listening. Uh, just got back, like I said, into doing YouTube. So there's a video up right now, pretty lengthy. So even if you just got it on in the background, I'm cool with that. But if you definitely got time to like sit down and you want to watch like a Nolan length movie, I mean, shit, Nolan like editing. I mean, come on. But no, yeah. If you do got time, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys definitely check it out. If you guys are enjoying my content, I have been streaming and playing Deadlock and other games on stream. I kind of stream a variety of things, but like really it has been Deadlock mostly. So if you guys are interested in catching me on stream, make sure you guys check the links in the description below. Make sure you guys check out both of our channels. It has been the Overnight Podcast, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.